I have faith. That is an incredible one. I didn't know who to thank. I just I thanked my minivan for getting me to all my gigs.
Me from A to B.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Real Country Podcast. This is Nikki, and today we are at Carter Vintage Studios for a Carter session, and our guest today is singer-songwriter, cowboy, rancher enthusiast, and all-around amazing musician, Mr. Sterling Drake. Hello.
Hello, good to see you.
How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm doing as good as I can. I've been on the road for over a week now. We just got back from the West Coast, and we're here in Nashville for one whole night.
One whole night, and then you're back to...
We go to Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how it's doing out there? I haven't really seen any updates on.
Yeah, from what I've heard. So I played there. I played Rabbit Rabbit. I opened up for Kaleo.
Okay.
Last
no way.
October, yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely a unique billing, but
Yeah.
I love those guys. Yeah, I was glad to do it, but it was the day before the flooding happened. We took off the next day on a plane, like as the rain was coming down, and just narrowly like got out of there.
Oh, wow.
So that was a crazy kind of coincidence, but from what I understand, they're doing as good as they can. They've kind of rebuilt a lot, and I think the rural areas of North Carolina have been hit a little bit, still have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It was cool to see the artist community come together to kind of support, like all the guys that did the benefit shows for that area out there.
Yeah, there was a group called Restring Appalachia, and they reached out to a bunch of different artists, and I helped promote it too by doing a little video. But they're trying to bring instruments back in the hands of musicians that are being displaced. So I think that's a really cool one.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Very cool. So you have The Shape I'm In due out May 2nd. So this is your first long form album. So essentially your debut, yeah?
Yeah, it's my debut full length. Although that sounds weird if you follow me at all, because I have like a bunch of EPs out.
Stuff out there. Yeah, there's
extended
EPs.
Yeah, but technically this is my first full length record.
Very cool. I'd love to hear it. So tell me about that project. Is it, from what I'm seeing, it's like a lot of different vibes, a lot of different sounds kind of melded into one. Is that what you're going for? Did you kind of want to explore a lot of different angles of music, or like what was the inspiration essentially behind that project?
I love roots music, country music, folk, like the whole umbrella. And at times there's a lot of different lanes I think that encompass what that means. And I love traditional country music, bluegrass, Appalachian, Irish music, and just the whole gambit of a lot of these things that have kind of informed our American catalog. So this is my attempt to maybe throw all those in one basket, and also to write songs that are just without really any aim, songs that are just me, some that are a little bit more, outreaching, and then trying to marry them with a lot of the things I love. So
yeah, 100%. It seems like your vibe is very storytelling. I mean, super authentic through all your experiences, and you've been all over the place with music, which is amazing. So it feels very authentic. Got that storytelling element, which I love. So is that going to be reflected in this one too?
For sure, yeah. Like folk, I think of it as like folk music is the driving force of how songwriting is created, like American songwriting. And then that can be done through a multitude of mediums. And country music is often that medium for me. So the story, the arc of the story of an album, like this album kind of has a linear message, but it talks about a lot of existential topics, some that are more down to earth, more simple.
Yeah.
But ultimately the story is the thing that brings it all together.
I love that. Oh man, existential crisis songs. We really go deep into the brain for that one.
Like, for all of our deep cats out there.
I love to hear it. So, and then last year too, at Ameripolitan, you won an award for Honky Tonk Male of the Year. So you definitely have the honky tonk dancehall vibe in as well, which is super cool.
Yes, definitely. That's it's something that'll stay with me forever. I started touring nationally, really in the honky tonk world, playing the dance halls, and really got started in Montana and the rodeos and state fairs and stuff there, but really expanding into Texas and Southwest, and eventually here in Nashville. But that's definitely where probably most of my time has been spent. So it's kind of hard to shake that.
I love it. And we're definitely going to dig into that journey, because I'm so jealous of all the stuff you share on socials. I'm like, why don't I live out west? It just makes no sense to me. I mean, I love Nashville, but I spent so much time out west as a kid, like as a family. I mean, every single summer from when I was like 7 to 16, I was at the guest ranches and like playing the dude ranch thing, like we were doing horseback riding. And I'm like, why don't I live out there?
Yeah, you're welcome to come out and eat coffee. We'll have you.
No. It feels like my calling, but I feel like I have to have the means to actually have like a ranch and do it right. Like I'm going to get all the horses, going to get all the cattle, and I'm just going to set myself up good before I get out there.
Well, I think the image, the story, which is also pretty relevant these days. pretty popular with shows like Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I think it resonates with people. And this idea of like abundance and freedom and nature. They're things that I feel like a lot of people feel disconnected from.
Oh, yeah.
I love Nashville too. I've spent a lot of time here, but it's easy to feel a little pent up when you're in a town like this. And
It does.
there's traffic and noise and party buses and all that stuff.
Oh, man.
So
It has started on the Woo Girls. Good grief.
yeah. So no, I get the appeal
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And if I'm growing up as like a horse person, which I know you're very involved in that space, it's like I just kind of want to go back to that. I got lost in the whole like trying to figure out my career and go to Nashville and do this and do business. And now I'm just like, peace, just land and horses. That's what I want.
I can definitely resonate with that as a certified horse girl myself.
Don't mess with the horse girls. My goodness. Apparently you're crazy.
No, joking. No, I totally get that. Horses have been a centering thing for me. It's easy to get like caught up in the music pursuit and like traveling a lot. You're probably on your phone more than you'd like to be. All these things that kind of make you disheveled. And I think horses are one of those things that can like center you. You have to be very intentional with your body and your actions.
And aware and present.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's therapeutic for sure.
It is. I love it. It's a great bond. It's like two things with a mind of their own working towards a common goal. And that trust there is just, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
He's like, yeah, me too. Okay, here's a question for you then. Brannaman or Pirelli?
Brannaman, 100%. No, never Pirelli. Sorry for all your fans out there, but yeah.
That's okay. We studied both when I was younger. The people that boarded our horses when I had horses, they were Pirelli people. But I was like, I watched a lot of the Brannaman trainings. This is very cool.
Yeah. Now, Brannaman's cowboy. Pirelli's not a cowboy. I'll say it.
That was a fast answer. Did you do something with one of their shows, or you were involved in something that they did a while back, right?
Yeah, and I've gotten to know Buck myself.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
We went over to Italy and he does horse clinics all over, and he has one in Europe, and great group over there. He's been doing that for, I want to say over 10 years now. He invited me to come out and perform last October, and it was incredible. You'd be surprised how developed these horsemen and women are in Europe that come from all over Spain and Switzerland and Italy. They've been practicing his disciplines. A lot of them are ranchers and farmers themselves, and they've reintroduced the horse into their world. And there's a lot of similarities. Our American ranching, like the idea originally stemmed from the Spanish, and so there's like this deep connection. I feel like it's bringing things full circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been able to spend time with Buck and horseback and over a dinner table and over a fire, and yeah, he's a real deal.
Nice.
I stand by that 100%.
Oh man, I would love to just absorb some of the knowledge and the skills that he knows around horses. That would be so cool. And I'm like, now that you say that about cowboying kind of in all the different countries, I'm about 100 pages before I'm done with the Lost Cowboy book. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm learning a lot from that one too. It's like, maybe I feel like I've done it, but not really.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. JB is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I met him in Gillette, Wyoming years ago. I was at the Daily Ranch visiting a friend, Kellen Smith, who's another musician. I'm sure you've probably heard of.
Yep, I sure have.
He's like one of my favorite things in Wyoming right now, Kellen. But I was visiting with Kellen. I think we were moving some cows and stuff. And Jake saw one of us post something, and he's like, "Hey, I'm down the road. I got this YouTube channel going on." And neither of us knew him. And he just were like, "Do you know this guy?" Like, "No, but I've seen it." And so Kellen invited him over, and we're in the evening sitting there on Kellen's patio, and here drives in this old dusty Oldsmobile, and a guy hops out with camo Crocs on.
Oh my gosh.
And he had his cap on, ball cap, and I just immediately fell in love with this dude. I was like, love this.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, no, he is. He's got a great story. I am not a fraction of the cowboy that Mr. JB is, but yeah, no, he's great, and that book is incredible. I hope.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I might finish it tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I'll see how quick I can read. But yeah, there's lots of cool stories in there. Has anyone told you? This is total side tangent. Has anyone told you your name is like perfect for the career that you've chosen?
Yeah, I have gotten that, and I admit it's not my fault. I can say that. I guess my mom gave me the name, so it's not self-aggrandizing. I don't think. I feel like I could be a NASCAR driver too,
or a NASCAR driver, or like a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah,
because they've got Tough, Cooper, Braxton, like all. Yeah, Sterling, right here.
I'm not handy enough for that. I value my limbs. I'm actually too accident prone. I mean, I've had way too many accidents for someone with in my position. So
yeah, I would get scared to if what happened to JB Mooney happened to somebody like JB Mooney happened to me, I'd be like, oh God, I'm terrified of this.
Yeah.
But
no, I can never do that. I really hats off to those guys, all those dudes. I've got some friends in the rodeo world, and I've definitely been the musician on a lot of that stuff. And the whole bareback stuff and bronc riding. I am a fan, but from the sidelines.
Yeah, I was right to say from the sidelines. Well, if you ever needed to back up, you've got NASCAR and you've got rodeo because the name fits just like perfectly. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I love that. So let's going back to the music, and I know you have a lot of different influences. Do you feel like you put yourself in a subgenre, or do you want to be considered, I know people throw around roots, Americana, there's honky tonk. Do you feel like there's one kind of term that encompasses you, or do you want it to be, just an exploration of everything?
Yeah, I think about this a bit. I'd say roots music is the best title if I had to put one on it. I don't really like to be defined too much by a particular niche or subgenre.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time enjoying some more traditional music, but I fear that if you sell yourself to maybe one particular niche, I've been called honky tonk, or, I was really into Western swing as well, and I've done bluegrass and other things, but I almost feel like, your audience is sometimes looking for you to be a conduit for them to listen to a music rather than to listen to your music. You're kind of a pass through. So if you do decide to change, sometimes that audience can turn on you really quick. And I don't know, not that I mean to disrespect any genres or like I don't value the idea of genre, but I think that as an artist myself, I enjoy the creative expression, and sometimes that takes you elsewhere. I look at guys like Marty Robbins. He was able to do the hillbilly thing, the pop thing, the Western thing.
Sure.
And it was always Marty, and everybody allowed him to do that. But I think because he made that point off the bat. And so I don't think any of my records have been necessarily like sonically identifiable, but I hope that you could tell like that's a Sterling song or something like that.
I love that. That's a really cool way of thinking about it. It's like you listen to the artist for the artist and their songs and their stories, and not that you expect it to sound like something. Like, say, I'm a country fan, so I'm going to listen to so-and-so, but no, I'm going to listen to Sterling because I love his music and like his interpretation of the stories and stuff like that. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And there's plenty of great preservationalists out there. There's incredible musicians. Like, I think about here, I was on the plane on the way here, and someone was asking what they should go see in Nashville. The first thing that popped into mind is now that I saw Chris Scruggs is playing on Sundays again. I mean, go see Chris Scruggs and the Stone Fox 5. Like, there's so much respect for that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think, my lane at the moment, what I'm doing, I just want to continue to make music that's thought-provoking and that piques my curiosity too. So sometimes that's a little more traditional. Sometimes it's a little bit more far-reaching.
Yeah, but you're the creator. That's your decision.
That's right.
Yeah. And so you said Marty Robbins to one of your big influences because you just did that show with Dave, right?
We did.
Man, I wish I could have gone out there for that.
That was fun. Yeah, well, I really wasn't aware that so Wild Earp did a bunch of gunslinger songs, and I wasn't aware that it was going to be a Marty Robbins kind of theme show at all until the flyer came out, and I looked at my set list. I'm like, well, we already have like 3 Marty Robbins songs on the set list.
Nailed this.
So there we go.
So I need to prep for this one. Yeah. That's great.
I love Marty. I have a lot of different influences, but he's one of them for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Who are some of your others then that you've been listening to for like your whole life?
Yeah, well, Willie Nelson's where I start. I love Willie Nelson. I mean, everything he represents, his arc of his career, and he's an artist that has done just that. He's kind of created music that stems into jazz and blues, but it's always country because it's always Willie, but he doesn't aim for country. He's aiming elsewhere and covering other songs and writing songs for other artists, but it's just always country. I love that. I also love Roger Miller, of course. One of my favorite singers is Paul Brady. He's an Irish singer.
Okay.
He's prolific over there and was a traditional musician, folk musician there for a while, and stemmed into a whole rock career. But his early stuff was like, moves me so much. And yeah, so a lot of that stuff, a lot of the Appalachian singers too. Larry Sparks. I mean, I could cry every time I hear Larry Sparks. And
I thought I know.
Yeah, so I could go on and on. But
that's great. Yeah,
I've got a wide basket.
Have you been to Ireland?
I have. Yeah, and we're going back.
Oh, great.
I say we, I mean I.
Yeah.
I'm doing a festival in the UK, and then I'm going to jump off from there and then do a little solo run in Ireland. But we did that the same kind of thing last spring. And yeah, it's incredible.
Very
I
cool.
love Irish music so much.
Oh my gosh, they have such a deep appreciation for music. It's just like it's even more deeply rooted in their culture than anywhere here too. It's just like everywhere I went, even the small little pubs, just like people were playing. And the cool thing is like when they started playing, everybody knew the song, so everybody would join in. It's like this is really neat.
Yeah, it's the best. It's really informed American songwriting, the way that Irish people, have written their songs over the years. The murder ballads,
Yeah.
the stories, the anthems. We really take a lot from there. I mean, a lot of it even directly so. So yeah, I think in a way to learn my music more, I've studied a bit of Irish music.
Oh, very cool. And so you found a pretty big fan base, I'm assuming, over in the UK, because there's a deep appreciation of country, specifically like UK, Ireland and stuff. How did you get involved with doing a lot of the overseas shows?
Yeah, I love playing over there. An agent reached out to me after I won the Metropolitan Award and asked me to come over, and it was great. We had a good time. It's interesting to play country, and country music over there because there's like several different demographics that it might tap into, and they're kind of dissimilar in their own right. Like you have a lot of people there that really appreciate American country music. Luke Combs is so big over there.
Oh,
Can't escape him over there, and he's great. Totally get it. Yeah. So you have like this like contingent of fans, but then you have this like older tradition of like folk clubs in England, which are almost a dying art, but there are like some younger people that are into that as well. And so you get this folk crowd and you get the country crowd. And so, yeah, I've been able to kind of like play a little bit to both. And it's super cool because again, just like Ireland, they have a lot of great songs too. That's where we get our music. So it's cool to go learn that side of their music as well.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that. I'd love to go back over there, but good for you playing all over there. That's really neat. And so you're originally from Florida, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to me through your journey from Floridian to now? Are you a resident of Montana or?
I am. Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Yeah. So what was that story?
Yeah. So I was born in South Florida. My grandfather was a rancher down there.
Okay.
We owned a ranch in the Big Cypress Indian Reservation. Mm-hmm. And my dad grew up there and around that world. And so I had this understanding of ranching and agriculture at a young age.
Sure.
But we moved around a lot, my family. And so we've lived in a lot of different parts of the country. And I think, I've lived in the city at times. I lived in rural areas, but I always had this like romance, with the West that my grandfather instilled. He spent time in Colorado before he ended up starting his ranch in Florida. And so the idea of like going West was something I think he instilled in me. And so I did that as soon as I could out of high school. Landed in Utah for a little bit and wiggled my way up to Montana eventually. And and then music has brought me here. So it's kind of been this back and forth. I live in Montana, but spend a lot of time here.
Oh man, that's awesome. Living in Montana, that's gotta be great. At what point in that journey did you get into music? So were you working at like ranches from your journey from Florida to Utah to Montana, and then where did music come in?
Yeah, well, I left Florida. We moved around. I went to high school in the Northeast even.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's a little bit more convoluted than that, but I been writing songs my whole life.
Okay.
And was always kind of my language. My mom introduced me to Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan, as I'd go to school on the radio and stuff. And that moved me a lot. So that was my expression, kind of my language. I've always written music. I've played in different forms of bands going through high school and stuff. And then I think I never stopped, but pursuing it as a full-time pursuit didn't really come about until 2019 when I moved here for a full year for the first time.
Oh, you're here for a year?
I was here for a whole year, and I was planning on being here longer, but COVID happened, and there was really no jobs. So 2020, I was like, okay, I'm going back to Montana.
Yeah. Gosh, what a time to that's got to be crazy for the people who just have decided to feel, you know what? Yes, music is my thing. Boom, COVID. Just like, now, but.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, it was always, it was like the thing I did all the time, but I thought I might try and make a go of it.
Yeah.
And I came here. I had an internship at a publishing house downtown.
Okay.
I went to college for the first time. I was working towards a associate's degree in business, which did not pan out after 2 semesters.
Yeah.
And
BA, I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't use it at all.
well, it got me the internship, and then I realized, which no due respect to the company I had an internship with, but it made me realize I don't want this job.
Yeah.
So I did that. I quit that, and I was drumming for a bunch of bands here.
Oh,
I'd
cool.
played for Timbo and Caitlin Butts, and I was playing with Mallory Eagle and like which were my roommates at the time, and I had a gig on Broadway at Acme, and then I was writing for a publishing house too. So
Nice.
I like tried the whole thing.
Yeah, you did the whole Nashville thing. That Acme, you were like playing with it. That's very fun. That's
right.
It's great. I love Caitlin. I love Mallory too. All great artists. It's very cool. And Timbo. I haven't met him yet, but I know he's like involved in the scene here too. So
You have to meet him.
I hear that from everybody.
I'd be honored to make that introduction formally because he's the man.
So, and another thing that you're involved to being out there, since you're so into the ranching community, is like the land conservation. Can you talk about why that's important to you, kind of the stuff that you're working on, and what implications like a land conservation kind of has on, I guess, protecting what it is trying to protect?
Yeah, land conservation is definitely a big important feature of obviously preserving the open spaces in the West, really everywhere, but the West is really formed around our public land that we have and legacy ranches. You know, when it was developed, we had these families that have been there since the development of the West, and then again we have our public land system that was created. Both of those are kind of important in different ways. And so I partnered with a group called Western Landowners Alliance last year to promote the idea of just preserving these working ranches. And that's through a multitude of ways that they provide resources. They're not necessarily a conservation company, but that's a big a feature. And private land conservation focuses on keeping working ranches whole and healthy, because ultimately our public parks are mountain ranges. They're harder, more inaccessible land, but our bottomlands, our fertile ground where our rivers run, where most of our wildlife lives, exist on these ranches, and they're private normally. And those are more susceptible to being developed and folding. These ranching families they face all sorts of economic challenges, and then the idea that it's harder to keep the next generation going and wanting to come back to the ranch. So Western Landowners Alliance really focuses on making sure they have tools to keep the place going. And they advocate for them. That's kind of what all that's about.
That's great. That's such a good cause. I'm assuming too, then a lot of that has to do with like water rights and where the water goes and who owns what and kind of thing. Like
Yeah. I mean, the idea that we can just kind of build row houses out on some grass because we have the area is very short-sighted. The grass is like the best feature we have to capture carbon in the atmosphere. I mean, we're altering our planet in ways we can't really fathom immediately when we just cover it with concrete and urban sprawl. And it's tough. And the water is a limited resource. We need it for a multitude of reasons. And I don't.
You didn't know. Now you do.
Exactly. So when we have to be careful with how we protect our waterways. There's big reclamation projects in Montana to restore beaver habitats. We eradicated them for a long time. We thought they were a nuisance to farmers and ranchers, but we've learned that actually living with wildlife can benefit the rancher because the land is thankful for it. Beavers are very effective at mitigating erosion on creek banks.
Everything has a purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very interesting. Did I see something? I think maybe it might have been you. Somebody shared that there was like regulation that got passed that now like maybe millions of acres have become unprotected or something. Is it a drilling thing or is it a development thing or kind of everything?
Yeah. So in the state of Montana currently right now, there is a massive effort to privatize a lot of our existing public land. It's kind of there's a bill that's in the state Senate right now that they're discussing to sell off 1.5 million acres of state land to auction it off, essentially. And it worries a lot of people. Obviously, this dips into a political kind of sphere, but I really try not to look at it that way. I mean, if you talk to your local ranchers and if you are informed about the community This is not like a left versus right thing. This is truly an important feature that we have. These legacy ranchers have had long-standing leases for this public land, especially in the more mountainous areas in Montana, like western Montana. And if you now sell off that land, I mean, it makes it infeasible. And yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of efforts to develop the state because there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tricky issue, but the reality is, yeah, there is an active movement to privatize our land and take it away from both the hands of the public citizen and the rancher. I think we're starting to see that they're both kind of on the same side here. Conservation efforts and ranching efforts really need to work together because outside interests will tear them apart if they're not working on the same team.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, man, I would hate that. People don't realize the implications too, like just cowboy farming, ranching, just like the backbone of, agriculture industry in general, just backbone of everything. Like people don't really realize where their stuff comes from. But
yeah, Montana's a good, interesting place, especially western Montana. I really feel like the hippie and the cowboy are on the same side where they often would say they're at odds. I mean, they really have a lot of similar goals.
Sure.
Maybe even the vegan and the rancher, their gripe is more with corporate agriculture, not necessarily, with ranching. They both, are great stewards of the environment. That's what ranchers are. And a lot of vegans really care about the environment and all those sort of things. So I think if you have these people sit down and have these discussions that are like from opposite sides of the spectrum, they could really identify some problems that they have some shared common goals.
Yeah, and they're on the same page.
Exactly.
Especially when they come together for that. And speaking of ranching too, you're also an advocate for mental health in that community and getting help for issues that they might be facing. What are some of those issues that you see rise in that particular community?
Oh, yeah. Well, rural America especially. But I think ranching communities are disproportionately affected, as well as native communities. And we have both of those in Montana.
Yeah.
Montana has some of the highest suicide rates in the country, if not currently the highest suicide rates.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's a tough subject for sure. There's a lot of alcoholism, domestic abuse, and just depression. A lot of undiagnosed conditions, a lot, poor access to infrastructure or for people to go seek a therapist. If you live on a ranch 2 hours from a major city, you're not going to be able to make it to a weekly therapist appointment. And nor do you feel like you have the capacity to, because your ranchers are wealthy in equity, but they're poor in cash.
Yeah.
And so, and they're hired men, they're, the cowboys, they're the ones that are poor in both. So, it's difficult, but the truth is there are a lot of resources. There's a lot of grants. There's a lot of private NGOs that are willing to work with people. And, this is a topic that people are trying to address, but I just don't think it gets much light in maybe in our culture. And also, the cowboy thing, like people are told, always be tough. Like there's, I think, this misguided image of what a cowboy is that really can be unhealthy for like a masculine person.
And trying to maintain that just like stoic facade of just nothing is ever bothering me. I'm just, hard. Like,
cowboy up and just bury it deep and
deal with it.
I think at the core of what that message is trying to say is valid, but it can also be misconstrued as like telling somebody to ignore their feelings. And, if something hurts, just forget about it and be tough. And I think it's important that men at cowboys and ranching and women as well, like have an outlet for those things. So I have a little resource tab on my website that is linked to the Farm Bureau and a few other NGOs that focus on providing free resources for people, or at least giving them a pathway to make sure they have like what they need and whatever that might be.
I love that. It's a great cause too. I'll make sure I share that link so you guys can go check that out. So lots of dates coming up. I know we already talked about you're going to the UK. You're back in Montana for quite a few dates, including Old Salt Fest. Tell me about this event, because I bought my plane ticket.
Awesome. We'll see you there. That's incredible.
I was so excited.
Yeah. So Old Salt is on the Mannix Ranch. They're some dear friends of mine, and the company is just, I can't speak highly enough of of everything those guys stand for and what they do for their community. Old Salt Festival is a, celebration of land stewardship through music and food and art. There's makers there, silversmiths and leather workers and painters.
Yeah.
And there's also what we call the Land Talk Lounge, which is a tent that's set up to have discussions with scientists, ranchers, just professionals in different industries come together and address some important topics that the West is facing. Mental health is actually one of our key speaking points actually this year as well. So there'll be a lot there on that one. Just a lot of really great people. I think my favorite part about the festival, other than of course the artists, is just the fabric of the people that come. They're all just really ambitious, really talented group of people, and it feels like a big family.
That's great.
Yeah, it's not like any other festival you'll go to. It's not terribly crowded. We keep it that way.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, we want people to have the experience of the abundance of land, and it's hard to feel that when you're trapped like sardines on a festival ground. So
oh my gosh.
yeah. We encourage people to explore the ranch. We do a pasture walk where we go out and they'll identify different plant species and talk about the importance of grass management, and they'll do some performances on the cliffside. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited. Is there anybody there in terms of artists you're excited to see you haven't yet?
Oh yeah. Well, I know a lot of these artists personally really well. I'm really excited to see just about everybody. But
yeah.
I mean, Nikki Lane, of course, is great. Brendan Lee, one of my favorite songwriters, and Melissa Carper, Christina Vane, a lot of Nashville friends.
Oh, they're all great.
Are going to be there. So I'm excited to I love when my two worlds collide.
Yeah.
Welcome. You came to me now.
I'm not at NASA. You came out here. Yeah. You're on my turf now.
That's right.
I'm stoked to see Buffalo Kin. I'm like, their music too, and a lot of your songs too have if you were in a Western, it has main character energy. Yeah. I'm just oh man, this is so cool. Yeah. So they're one I'm super excited to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Seth, I know Seth a bit. We played in Elko for the poetry gathering, the Cowboy Poetry Gathering last January actually, and I got to see them. They're very cool. Just really nice folks. And they get the idea. They're about the same message too. So
yeah.
I love those guys.
Well, I love to hear it. I mean, just wrapping up here, and again, you've been everywhere telling your stories, making this music, traveling all over. Has there been one overarching amazing experience that you've had throughout your music career that just kind of takes the cake?
Oh man, there's been tons of great moments, obviously winning the award last year. Yeah. Which I was in such awe that I didn't know what to thank.
Super cool, by the way. Sad they didn't have that this year, but that was such a cool event, such a cool experience.
Oh yeah. It'll come back. I have faith. That is an incredible one. I didn't know who to thank. I just I thanked my minivan for getting me to all my gigs.
Me from A to B.
Yeah. Thank you, Toyota. Please sponsor me. But no, I don't know. I don't know. I think traveling overseas is incredible too. Gosh. I played in Iceland, and that was unforgettable. I don't think there's very many country shows in Iceland in the history.
Icelandic, or
they are? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I've become friends with them, and yeah, I got invited over there to play, and
very cool.
Yeah. So there's too many to name, but those are two good ones right there.
For you, I love that. There's so many great stories. I'd probably be here with you for hours talking about all this, but we're going to do it again at Old Salt Fest, because I feel like just coming from here, where that's one of the issues that is never discussed, just being able to go out there and it's something fully new that I'm immersed in. And I'm looking forward to it so much.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
We'd love to have you. I can't wait.
I can't wait. Okay, I'm going to find a way to ride out there too. If there's not where there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to find some horses and jump.
That's right. We'll make something happen. We'll do the best we can.
That's all I'll be doing. Well, Sterling, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you guys go follow him. And is album out for pre-save right now?
It is. Beautiful. It should be, yeah. It's out May 2nd, so.
Pre-save the album out May 2nd. Make sure you go check him out on the road. And what do you say we grab a guitar and do a couple acoustic songs?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks, guys.
Coming down Duval Street, earning swords on the feet, living the dream that won't come true, and holding on to what's left here. But I wish I was in Nashville town, with some good times and friends around, at Santa's pub watching Carter play, always wash my blues away. sleep, nobody knows. Times are getting short these days. It's getting old, acting half my age. Wish I was in Nashville town with some good time friends around. So Timbo, sing your heart away. It may be who I am today. Living there, green eyes, you might brown hair. I couldn't give her what she needs. I left her there now in the streets. But I was in Nashville town, some good times around the ring. Dancing that folks stay tune, always carried my Nashville. I've been known to ramble around, I guess it's my design. From Bozeman down to Austin town, you'll find friends of mine. And when I was a little lad, I had the urge to roam. Barefooted through the bluegrass fields is where my seeds were sown. Oh, corn dear, don't leave me out to cry. Tell me I can come back home, don't leave me on the line. And once I had a sweet, sweet love, an Ozark rose of mine. I saved up for a diamond ring to ask her to be my wife. But before I could take her hand, she told me not to, so my little heart couldn't stand if I had to go. Oh, corn dear, don't leave me out tonight. Tell me I can come back home, don't leave me on the line. All you rambling boys of pleasure, won't you listen to my song? If you ever find a sweetheart, dear, don't you ramble for too long. Oh, corn dear, don't leave me out to dry. Tell me I can come back home, don't leave me on the line. Oh, corn dear, don't leave me out to dry. Tell me I can come back home, don't you leave me out.